the Grand Challenge Cup. On the start line, Oxford, Brookes University and Leander Club on the Berkshire Station, and Rowing Australia on the Buckinghamshire Station, the oldest event at this regatta, and a showdown for the ages between Great Britain and Australia.
Yeah, and it's brilliant watching these two crews getting off the start like two locomotives, just chugging into action. They didn't throw themselves at it. It was just a surge, and the pistons of the legs started going down quicker and quicker. Now they're up to full length, coming through about 10 strokes. The Australian crew we can see here throwing everything at it, alongside the British, bow ball to bow ball, top of the island.
Well, this is going to be a sensational matchup here. Rowing Australia were the record holders in this event. They set that in 2018. A very different crew here coming to Henley Royal Regatta. But the Brits are just looking to extend out this lead in their sort of step down onto pace. Tom Ford in the stroke seat for the British crew. We're now looking at the 8 men from Australia, plus their cox, Kendall Brodie, who will be guiding them through the next stages.
Yeah, well, we look at this crew, 5 of the crew making their senior debut in Poznan, coming to Europe now to race for the Australian national team. You can see the British are starting to slip away, starting to establish a lead. Look at their blade work, and looking pretty tidy.
Looking very tidy, and this new look British 8 has absorbed some of the members of the British men's 4. Rory Gibbs in the bow seat, Sholto Carnegie in the 4 seat, coming in to strengthen this 8, and having stepped up a gold medal at the first World Cup in Belgrade this season, they will be full of confidence. But this is a blind matchup. The Australians were in Poznan, the British were in Belgrade, and this is the first time they've met this season.
Yeah, first time of many, I'm sure, but the British crew on the right of the screen have established a lead here. As you say, they raced in Belgrade at World Cup 1. They won that by 10 seconds. An enormous winning margin in the men's 8, as we're taking a look now with the Aussies.
Yeah, this Australian crew are certainly, going to be feeling the pinch here in these middle stages, being down on Great Britain, but looking relaxed there in the 4 seat. Jackson Kench for Australia, national champion from Oz, and he just sort of granted himself a quick look out the boat there to see whereabouts he matched up with his opposite man.
Yeah, and that look will tell him that they're still very much in it, but we know in 8s, and particularly in 8s in the Grand Challenge Cup, you get onto a lead and then you may be able to hold that lead. You may be able to hold just half a length. Things don't always turn around the way we might see them more in the smaller boats. So the Aussies will want to be stopping the British from actually getting that clear water move. The crew's coming up through this quieter, empty patch on the course. But you see them come through Forley. There's going to be a margin. I think it's going to be looking quite close to a length.
Yeah, and the British will be really pleased with that, Greg, at this point, because the Australians back in 2018, they were on the other end of this. They were in deficit, they were having to chase, and unfortunately it never happened for them. And actually, a Great Britain squad crew hasn't won the Grand Challenge Cup since 2015. We had Oxford Brookes University last year, of course, but that wasn't a British squad outfit. This is the Olympic squad now, and look at this clear water as they come through the crowds towards the Remnant Club.
Yeah, fantastic performance from this British 8. As you say, 2 of this crew were rowing for Brookes last year when they won this event. Now they're in the squad 8, the Great Britain 8, and that open water is just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and this Australian crew, they were silver medalists at World Cup 2 behind the Germans, those age-old competitors, those rivals that Great Britain will be keen to measure themselves against in the seasons to come. They're racing at Lucerne next week in World Cup 3, and Henry Fieldman back in the Cox's seat here, having missed that first World Cup in Belgrade. He's going to be keen to demonstrate what he can do to be selected into that seat.
Yeah, Henry Fieldman, experienced cox sitting in that seat, taking that look to the right, holds his body so still, as all the coxes do, doing as little as possible to disturb the movement of the boat, whilst keeping the crew on it, while giving them the information they need. He's talking to their heads, and he's now might be talking to their hearts to try to get them to find what they need. They're in front of the enclosures. This is a special moment for them. It's one they're going to want to treasure. It's one they're going to want to deliver stroke after stroke as well as they can. They're in a brilliant position here to win the Grand Challenge Cup, but there's still work to do.
Yeah, the Australian crew here are going to be really hurting. It's painful being behind, but especially on the stage that is Henley Royal Regatta in the Grand Challenge Cup. And there's just nothing that they can do at this point in time, I think, to recoup this deficit, because the British just look so sharp. They've snapped that elastic band that held them together in the early part of the course, and now it's all of the pressure on rowing Australia.
And I think there'll be no let-up from the British 8 either. They want to use this opportunity to go and race again and again, build that confidence. As you say, it's a new combination. Lovely to see all the different outfits, all the different club colours on display on the Henley course. They'll blend that together into the Great Britain 8, and this is another step in the learning. It's one that they'll put into their memory banks about how they felt passing the progress board, passing the grandstand at Henley Royal Regatta 2022.
This crew littered with former Henley winners, but nothing like winning the Grand Challenge Cup for elite Open 8, and that's going to be a huge, huge celebration. For the first time in 7 years, a British squad crew winning the Grand Challenge Cup ahead of rowing Australia by clear water. What an absolutely phenomenal performance there from that 8.
Just how big a scalp was it beating Australia here in the Grand?
No, look, that was really good race. They're a really strong crew. You know, they pushed the Germans really hard at the last World Cup, and we saw them as a marker to push off. And that, you know, I've raced those guys for a few years now, and they're tough fighters. And it was really, that was a tough race. How does
this year compare to some of the other Henleys you've done? How big and significant is this win?
Well, I've tried to win that event 3 times in the Grand and failed twice, so that was really special to get across the line first that time. It meant a lot.
Yeah, for a top rower, is the Grand the blue ribbon event of the week?
Oh, well, I think all the international events are prestigious, but that one, once you've tried to go for it a few times and lost it, it really means so much to win it. And
it is a Brookes Leander crew, but in terms of sort of where you are in the season, how important was today's race?
I think that was really good for us. You know, we did well at the first World Cup in Belgrade, but the opposition wasn't the strongest, and it was a really good opportunity here to come up against the best and test ourselves in preparation for Lucerne, where everyone will be there. You know, our rivals, the Germans, and the rest of the world will be there, and today was a good building block, but Lucerne's going to be much tougher. I'm sure the Aussies will come back, and 6-lane racing is very different to one-on-one.